How's it going, everybody? My name is Alex, and in today's video we're going to be discussing how to build the Chrysalax wonder weapon inside of the Forsaken. This is actually a very easy and simple process, but it kind of gets convoluted with the amount of enemies thrown at you because there's really no other choice than to just dive in and get swarmed by all these different enemies. But without further ado, let's jump into it, and I'm going to give you some tips that I don't think a lot of other guides have been providing, as they just simply tell you the steps and leave the rest up to you. And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice on how to execute these steps properly so you're not wasting your time. So first things first, you're going to want to turn on power and Pack-a-Punch and introduce the Forsaken into the map. If you're confused on how to do this, just let me know if you want to see a guide, but there are a ton of guides out there, I am sure of it. It is very easy to turn on power and Pack-a-Punch, as you just follow the indicators on your screen until you get to the teleporter that needs repaired. Find the 4 parts inside of any town USA, head into the laboratory, kill the abomination, take the teleporter, hit the first button, hit the second button, and you're good to go. Now, after you skip the cutscene or the cutscene plays, whatever you want to do, you're going to want to wait a couple rounds. I think it's about 3 rounds, and a giant rock or a crystal is going to fall from the sky and end up in Main Street inside of a little shop. Just go up and interact with it, and all of a sudden you will be thrown into the pits of hell, and you're gonna just have to defend the shit out of this crystal. Kill everything in sight so that you can gather points so you can buy death perception, because you're gonna want to buy a flamethrower as soon as possible. And don't be afraid to Pack-a-Punch your weapon and stuff like that. Use your points wisely, but make sure you buy at least death perception and the flamethrower as soon as possible. Now that you have killed everything, that crystal should no longer have its defense shield on it, and you can just go and pick it up. Now we are going to get our second crystal. If you've noticed around the map, there are 3 giant piles of dark ether crystals that have these floating orbs around them. Each set of dark ether crystal orbs, or the dark ether crystal pile, whatever you want to call it, is going to spawn a specific type of enemy combination. So you're going to want to find the enemy combination that has tempests and tormentors. Now, these 3 locations for the giant pile of dark ether crystals can be at spawn, can be inside of the laboratory, and is on one of the rooftops inside of Main Street. If you arrive and the enemies aren't spawning in right away, just shoot one of the orbs and don't worry, they will definitely come. And once you see that tormentor, pull out your flamethrower, barbecue the shit out of them, pick up that second crystal. Now we're going to want to go and get our third crystal, and this one is by far the easiest. You're going to want to head into the dark ether laboratory, and you're going to go inside of the boardroom. This is the giant table that has all of the paperwork on it, where all the important politicians, I guess, were sitting and having meetings, and a abomination is going to spawn in. This is not random. He is always there for this one instance. Now, you can actually take advantage of this situation and have him run into the wall to give you one of the pieces for the ethereal reactor thing that you need in the Easter egg. But if you don't feel like doing that yet, it's no big deal. All you got to do is lead this bad boy over to the crystal that you're seeing on screen. He will zap it with the crystal, and you will have your third and final crystal. Now, what do we do with these? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. You're going to want to go to this tank of dark ether water, or whatever the hell it is. It's a special kind of liquid. Place all 3 crystals in there, and then get like 10 melee kills or something like that. It's not a lot, but if you wait till the higher rounds like I did, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. So bring a Bowie knife or some sort of melee if you want. It makes it a lot easier. There's no indicator on this fish tank or this aquarium or this tank of water, so just hit interact and the crystals will go right in, no problem. After that, you'll be able to pick up the Chrysalax, you'll be able to get some intel, and you'll be good to go to continue the rest of the Easter egg and just have a good time doing high rounds or whatever you're into. Don't forget that the Chrysalax can also be Pack-a-Punched to 3 tiers, so yeah, very OP, very fun to use. And another side tip, I tried to kill some tormentors with the flamethrower inside of the lockdown where you get the first piece of the ether machine that we're building for the Easter egg, and for some reason when I was using the flamethrower on enemies, it just wasn't like dropping the heart. So I don't know if I just screwed something up or there was a glitch, but I would just go with the route of finding the dark ether crystal pile that has the combination of enemies that bring out the tormentors. That way you don't have to worry about any glitches, and you can continue on with that section of the lockdown very easily with the Chrysalax in hand, because that part is actually pretty intense, and I think you need some good firepower to get through it. Now, for a brief little tutorial on how to use the weapon, weapon, it's actually quite simple. If you're playing on controller, you're just going to want to use the triggers just like you would with any other gun if you are using the gun variant of the wonder weapon. Now, what's cool about this weapon is while you're pack-a-punching it and getting further into the game, you're going to notice that the zombies are actually going to freeze with this like dark ether frostbite and then explode, killing everything in its path, and it's quite powerful, I gotta say. Now, if you're not in the mood to use the gun variant anymore and you want to switch over to the axe, all you have to do is hit up on the D-pad or B on controller. And how this variant works is just like your standard melee weapon where you can click in the thumbstick or click the mouse like normal to have it swinging all around. But if you hold the aim down sight button on mouse, that is the right button, or on controller, that is the left trigger, it will throw this like boomerang spinning blade thing and it'll kill everything in its path. And then when you're done using it, it'll fly back into your weapon. And something of note, the weapon itself can never technically run out of ammo. It has infinite ammo. So if you're using the axe part of the weapon, you'll be getting ammo for the gun part of the weapon. And if you're using the gun part of the weapon, you'll be getting ammo for the Beyblade part of the weapon with the axe. I know it's a little bit convoluted, but just think of it in these terms. The other weapon helps get the other weapon more ammo. Very simple. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this little tips and tricks tutorial video. I hope it helped you in some way. And if it did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And if you didn't, leave a dislike and tell me what you missed out on, and I'll try to do my best to answer your question. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, everybody.